What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today I will be ranking the top 5 casualty deaths. So without further ado, let's get into it. Casualty has been airing for 35 years this year, and that means that there have been so many deaths I have simply lost count. Now, a couple of things before we get started with this ranking. First of all, it is top 5 for the simple reason I had to draw a line at some point. It was very hard to pick top 5 characters. So if you see a character who you believe should be on this list, they were probably number 6 or number 7, but they got cut off at the top 5. Secondly, these are my personal choices. Everyone is different. Everyone will have a certain character death which will hit them more than others. So I hope that you respect my opinions. And finally, I am ranking these deaths on how traumatic, shocking and heartbreaking they were. Deaths that may have occurred 15 years ago that I still get down about today, that character has died. So let's get on with the ranking. At number 5, I have selected Selena Donovan, who died in Series 21, Episode 48, broadcast on the 4th of August 2007. And I have selected Selena because it was the first casualty death I have ever experienced. I started watching Casualty at the beginning of 2007, so Selena's death has always had a significant impact on me. She was shot in the head while she was pregnant and died, and her baby, while it was delivered, it also died a couple of weeks later. So Selena's death I find very, very tragic. She was loved by the majority of people in the ED, and the fact that she was pregnant and got shot and that her child died as well, I always found that very, very heartbreaking. So Selena's death was a very traumatic and heartbreaking death which will always have a place in my heart. At number 4, I have selected paramedic Polly Emerson, who died in Series 25, Episode 34, broadcast on the 30th of April 2011. Now, I have selected Polly for the simple reason I loved her character. She was so upbeat and carefree that her death was just so heartbreaking. She was stabbed by a patient on her last day. She was going to become a counsellor, so her death has always felt so heartbreaking. She was about that far away from getting out of the ED, and then she was stabbed. I also think that her death had a very significant impact on the department, especially Dixie and Jeff, who were her colleagues as paramedics. It took them a long time to get over her death. And I always thought, because she died in resus after being stabbed, I always felt that you could feel the mood in the room was that they had lost a great colleague who was always laughing, always joking, and just made everyone smile. So Polly's death was tragic, and it is always one I remember and wish that they hadn't killed her off. They could have just let her go to her new job, but no, they had to kill her off. At number 3, I have chosen Lisa Duffin, aka Duffy, who tragically passed away in Series 34, Episode 22, broadcast on the 1st of February 2020. Now, Duffy was an original character, so her death was always going to have a massive impact on Casualty fans. She had vascular dementia, which I felt was done really well, that storyline, and her death, it just rounded the storyline off in a very beautiful way. She was found in the snow, and basically because of her vascular dementia, her body just started to shut down. Her relationship with Charlie was brilliant. At least she was able to marry Charlie and had a few good years with him before she was diagnosed with vascular dementia. Her death was tragic, although I always remember from her death, when she's being brought out in the ED and all the staff are standing there to send her off. I think it was the way for Duffy to go. She was an original character and she went off in a very beautiful way. So Duffy will always be a death I will remember because it was just done so well. The runner-up is Caleb Cal Knight, who was tragically killed off in Series 31, Episode 33, broadcast on the 29th of April 2017. He was murdered by white supremacist Scott Ellison. When he was trying to save his brother, he believed that Scott was after Ethan, so Cal tried to stop him and was stabbed and then died in recess. Now, the main reason Cal's death had such an impact on me was not only because Cal was a great character, a very funny and beloved character who was very popular with the Casualty fan base. I think it was the aftermath. You could see Ethan's grief because George Rainsford, who portrayed Ethan, is such an incredible actor. You really did feel that Cal's death had such a negative effect on him, and he went down a very bad path after that, which actually culminated in him leaving Scott Ellison to die. So Scott did get his comeuppance in the end, especially as in the episode which aired last week, Ethan went to visit Cal's grave before his wedding to Phoenicia. So I always felt that Cal's death has had a long-lasting impact on not only Ethan's life, but the ED in general. The top spot, my favourite all-time Casualty death, the character who I firmly believe had the most heartbreaking departure, is paramedic Jeff Collier, who was killed off in Series 29, Episode 5, broadcast on the 4th of October 2014. Now, this death is for a couple of reasons. Now, for one, Jeff was my favourite character. Since he arrived in 2007, I loved him. He was a hero, the hero paramedic they used to call him. He put his life on the line so many times to save patients. And a couple of occasions I thought he was going to die while saving patients, and that is how he died. When a minibus crash occurred which left a number of the ED team in peril, Jeff was saving them, and he had just managed to get the last person out of the van when the van exploded and he was killed off. I didn't see it coming whatsoever, and I still think about his death to this day because it was that tragic and heartbreaking, especially when you consider he was about to marry Tamsin Bell. He was about to propose to one of his colleagues and get married to her, the love of his life, and then he was killed off. Such a sad death. His death had a heavy impact on Dixie, his longtime friend and colleague. She never really got over Jeff's death. I don't think that ED did either. That had a significant impact on a lot of the characters involved, and I will always miss Jeff. They shouldn't have killed him off. They should have left the door open. I would have loved to seen him return, but it was just such a tragic and heartbreaking death, and I miss Jeff Collier. I miss him a lot. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. And of course, what Casualty character deaths were your favourite? They were probably different to mine, so please feel free to comment down below. I love it when we get a discussion going and we get loads of different views. So please tell me what characters were your deaths were your favourites, and why do you believe that those characters should not have been killed off. Now, on the 14th of August, we have Casualty's 35th anniversary special coming. I plan to do a video at some point next week where I will be detailing everything we know about the 35th anniversary so far and some predictions on what I believe is going to happen in that special. So I hope you look forward to that, and I will see you in another one. See ya!